Hey everyone, happy Monday. Welcome to the Breathe Break for Your Brain. I'm Leah Lund and I am the creator of One Whole Health. And at One Whole Health, we help women change their brain, manage their mindset, and master their emotions. And we do this through many tools and techniques, some that work with neuroscience, forming new neural pathways, some that work with the body and connecting the body and emotion, and some that are practice, trial, and error, and everything in between. And one of our strategies that is incredibly successful is the idea of a breathe break. And what that means is that every 90 minutes of activity during your day, you take a pause for 10 minutes where you clear your mind and you do something different. You walk away from the project that you were working on so hard. Maybe you get outside, maybe you listen to some music, maybe you do a yoga stretch, but something to rest your entire nervous system and clear your mind so that you can go back at it, at the living of life in your day, renewed and refreshed, and with your brain able to concentrate and focus for another 90-minute span. So today, on Mondays, we join together and practice our breathe break. And so today, on our breathe break, I want to talk about ebb and flow and the nature of ebb and flow and how our whole body and circadian rhythm goes along with that ebb and flow. And so you might see that I am sitting in my greenhouse. My greenhouse is very empty right now, and there is an explanation for that. And it's about to come alive. Just yesterday, I planted my very first little seedlings. I'll let you have a peek at them. And I actually stepped in here right now so that I could water them. And in a matter of 2 or 3 weeks, they'll be planted in towers, aeroponic gardening systems over there that I haven't even set up yet. But I'll get to that. This has been a bit of an unusual spring for me in terms of some family medical situations and other aspects, travel, that have kept me traveling and not here. Usually I would have these planted at least a month ago, if not 2. And it's okay. They're planted now, and they're going to grow. And in some weeks to come, I'll show you the fruit of my labor. But I wanted to talk about the ebb and flow of that, of nature. Because in nature, say plants and animals, and really us, we live best aligned with our true cyclical nature. And it's getting a little bit bright in here, so I'm going to put my sunglasses on. We move best with our true cyclical seasonal nature, following our natural rhythms. Everything in our life is an expansion and a contraction. Day and night, sunrise and sunset, spring and fall, full moon, quarter moon, all of our moons, right? High tide, low tide, even birth and death. And notice that I didn't say life, because life is a continuum. There's no start or stop. The opposite of death is birth. And these are some of the cyclical rhythms in nature. And sometimes we're going against the flow. We're swimming upstream and forgetting our inner rhythm and our inner intelligence. Oftentimes people can look outside themselves. Maybe you've done this to try to find an answer, how to feel better, how to be more productive, how to have more energy. And maybe you've tried to manage or predict the future. Or maybe you're constantly looking in the past and analyzing what you did that caused things and how can you control and change something that's already happened and that maybe was in the seeds, was in the cards. You may find that you unintentionally try to control or manipulate cycles, control the outcome. So one of the greatest gifts that you can give yourself and your energy level is to go with your natural flow and your natural instinct. And that not only means recognizing what is in front of you in the moment and going along with it, but it also means expecting that that moment will change. The season will change, and the ebb will flow and the flow will ebb. And think of how much time you might spend trying to make it so that things don't change. But you are energy, and energy must move, and energy is never static, and there's no right or wrong, good or bad in the ebb or the flow. It's all part of nature. So wouldn't it be refreshing to stop expecting life to stay the same? Wouldn't it be great to see change as merely evolution, up-leveling, instead of some mistake that you've made along the way? And wouldn't it be really fantastic to just allow what is to be? Isn't that an amazing form of peace? The ultimate reward for honoring your own cyclical nature is that you find happiness in all situations. You begin to really understand what Deepak Chopra means when he says happiness for a reason is just another form of misery. For if something outside of you is what's making you happy, then you're really subject to what happens outside of you. It could be taken away at any moment. When happiness comes from internal, in honor of your ebb and flow, of your natural rhythm, you are much more likely to be happy all the time. So, talking about our seasons, I'm going to go back to my little seeds. They will eventually be a plant over there in that tower. And after that, they will be some great, gorgeous greens and vegetables that I'll enjoy, very much so. But there is no way that I can harvest those seeds today. It's just no way. There's no way I can force that. No amount of thinking or intelligence or struggling or searching is going to make that happen. So I get to honor the natural progression of these seeds. And I want to make a distinction between honoring your cyclical nature and not taking action. Going with your flow does not mean standing still and waiting for life to happen to you. Going with your flow means acting with the flow in full-on massive action at the time. Not regretting that you didn't act once the season is over, not trying to change what season it is, and not expecting that that season will last forever. So go back to those 3 points. You're taking massive action in the season that it is. You are not expecting to be able to change what season it is, and you're not trying to hold on to the current season forever. You are playing full out in the season that it is. So full out for me this spring planting season is I got my seeds in their little beds yesterday. I know it's going to take 2 to 3 weeks before they're ready to go in the towers, and that's okay. But I took the first action that I could when I was actually going to be here for long enough to make sure that they got watered and would result in seedlings that I can then put in the tower. Took action in the season, even if it was a little delayed for good reason this season, it was still action in the season. When it comes time for harvest, I will harvest. When harvest is over and it's time for me to leave the ranch, because we're only here in the summer, I will harvest and I will be done with it. And I won't have regrets about what I planted or what if I could have got here sooner and planted them sooner or anything like that. So think about something in your life where you're going against the grain right now and post what that is. Share that with us. And then line out steps 1, 2, and 3. What can you do right now to take massive action with the current season that is? Number 2, where can you release an attempt and recognize, first of all, recognize and acknowledge an attempt to control the seasons? So what do you need to let go of that you just can't control? And then thirdly, how do you get yourself to act on the season before the season is gone and you look back and wish it was still here? Because nothing's worse than wanting something when it's gone. And absolutely nothing will be there forever. At least not in this human physical plane. So share with us, where have you been going against the grain? Number 1, how can you take massive action today? Number 2, what can you acknowledge that you've been trying to control that can't be controlled and you release it? And number 3, how will you continue your massive action, your inspired action, so that you never regret a season when it's done? You're celebrating the fruits of that season. Have a great day, everyone.